Hi, it's Rachel from Tea and Forget-Me-Nots. If you enjoy this video, please consider liking and subscribing. These two children's side tables were given to a charity shop, but they thought that nobody would buy them because they weren't in amazing condition, so they gave them to me for free, which was great, my favourite price. I needed to remove the varnish from the tables so that the paint would stick to it nicely, and I used this as the opportunity to also sand out some of the gouges, just so I wouldn't go completely over the top with the wood filler, which I inevitably did anyway. I hand sanded the edge of the tabletop as it had a nice curve to it, and if I'd used my electric sander there's a good chance I would have accidentally flattened it out slightly. My plan was to paint each table in 3 separate colours, so despite the fact that they both had 8 legs, 2 shelves and a drawer, I dismantled them all so that I wouldn't have to worry about taping off each section. I cleaned each individual piece with white lightning, diluted in hot water to start with, and then rinsed it in just plain water afterwards to make sure there was no white lightning left over. I used Dixie mud as wood filler to fill in any spaces where the sanding hadn't gone deep enough, and as usual I got a bit carried away, so it ended up looking like a tapestry of mud, but in the end it was a really lovely smooth surface. I sanded the Dixie mud smooth and then used a cloth to wipe off any excess residue. As a final step I used a tack cloth, which is a slightly sticky net-like cloth, to give a final wipe over. This takes any final bits of dust off and ends with a really clean surface. I did a first coat of the yellow paint, which is Fusion's Mustard, just to see if I could get away with it or how much the wood grain would show through afterwards, and as you'll see I decided I need to go back and prime because it was just too visible. So I used Dixie Belle's Boss in grey as an initial coat over the entire piece. Round brushes are great for spindles and legs, so I was really excited to try out this new small round synthetic brush by Dixie Belle. The blue colour is called Nautical and is from Dixie Belle's Silk range, and it's such a lovely rich colour. And I have to say I'm quite pleased with my little contraption with the egg cartons for keeping the legs in place whilst I painted them and whilst they dried. I wanted to show the difference between legs that were unpainted, painted and primed and painted. So the left hand leg is obviously unpainted, the middle one has had 1 coat of Fusion's Mustard, and the right hand one has had 1 coat of primer and 1 coat of the yellow paint. To me the right hand leg looks slightly green, that's the one with the primer and the paint. And my pet theory is that the grey primer might have a blue undertone in it, and that is why when combined with yellow paint it looks slightly green. That's not proven at all, that's what I think might have happened. But after 2 coats of the yellow paint, the green tinge was completely gone and it was fine. For my third and final colour I chose Cranberry, a really beautiful red, again from Fusion, and applied it with a flat brush on the tabletop. It ended up as quite the colourful production line. It might not be clear that these are children's sized tables, but they really are quite small, and bearing in mind that children will use them, it was quite important to have a protective top coat. So I used Dixie Belle's clear coat in gloss, and gloss is really protective, so it should put up with whatever a child has to throw at it. And I did 2 coats on the top just so it's got some extra protection. I did a test run of assembling the tables because there were different colour combinations, for example a red top with the yellow shelves and blue legs. I wanted to see what the best option was. There are actually 16 different combinations that you could have the table in, and that's without mixing and matching the colours of the legs. So if you had both tables, you could literally have a different style of table every day of the week for 2 weeks and more. And here they are, all finished. They win several awards for me. Definitely my glossiest ever piece, probably my most colourful as well, and I'd say the most fun. I could definitely see some children loving this in their playroom or their bedroom. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing, or check out some of the other makeovers in the playlist. And there's more content on my blog at teaandforgetmenots.com. Thanks for watching, until next time, bye!